Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this is your Red Pill News. Hope everyone enjoyed the video from yesterday. We've got another bang-up job to do for you guys today. First of all, I want to open up with a post that a friend of mine, Kathy, sent on email. Looks like there is talk in Greenland of holding a referendum to become part of the United States. Sounds like the Danish Prime Minister was a little bit hasty in her response to President Trump. So we're going to go over this post and several news stories. We'll be right back after a quick word from my sponsor. Every day, we see warning signs that this country is inching closer and closer to, dare I say it, civil war. Violent protests by radical leftists, armed attacks on ICE facilities, police officers heckled and pelted while executing arrests, even elected members of Congress crashing political events, and the media justifies or ignores it. Unless we change course, the result is inevitable. And though civil war is far from guaranteed, we are in a cycle of violent weather that is unmistakable. Earthquakes, hurricanes, and more. Almost every American is at risk in some form. And that's why I prepare with My Patriot Supply. They've revolutionized preparedness with an industry-leading line of food storage, water filtration, and other products that you will need at some point. And right now, you can save 50% on a 2-week emergency food kit. These 2-week food kits include breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, and they last up to 25 years in storage. Don't ignore the writing on the wall. Give yourself peace of mind and save 50% off at my special website, preparewithredpill78.com. That's preparewithredpill78.com. All right, so a member of my family, it says, lives in Manitosk, Greenland. The feeling among some of the locals is that it was wrong for Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen was totally out of order to dismiss President Trump the way she did and without hearing him out first. Some of them are openly talking about having a referendum in Greenland to leave Denmark and join the United States. Greenlanders realize that the economic benefits of Greenland becoming a U.S. state will benefit the locals greatly. Not only this, but it will keep the warmongering Ivans away from the front door, with the United States having all-exclusive EEZ rights around Greenland, allowing to drill for oil and gas. Also, the United States is looking for sources of rare earth metals. I don't see what Denmark can do if Greenland holds a referendum and secedes from Denmark and joins the United States. It would be legal and binding. Also, Greenland would become an even more serious military U.S. geostrategic asset, allowing the United States to keep both the Russians in check and have one eye on increasingly unpredictable Europe. Trillions of U.S. dollars would trickle back into Greenland from U.S. oil, gas, and mineral exploration and military, etc. Greenland would also see its population increase significantly. I think Greenland becoming a part of the United States might just happen. The locals should have the final say, not Denmark. The United States should respect the will of a referendum and enforce the democratic will of the people by all means necessary. The Russians did it illegally in Crimea, and the United States should do it legally. Well, what do you guys think of that? Sounds like there are some people in Greenland who would like to join us here in the United States, become perhaps the 51st state, or maybe just another principality or territory of the United States. Well, if the Greenlanders decide that they want to leave Denmark, then I don't really see what much Denmark can do. I certainly don't think that Denmark's going to stand up to us. Mette Frederiksen tried to do that when she was a little snippy with our president, and President Trump squished her like a bug. So I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Go ahead and leave some comments below, and we're moving on to the next story. Well, first off, from my friend Jeffrey Peterson, Real Jeffrey P on Twitter, he says, breaking news being reported out of Mexico, multiple sources about an alleged extortion network operated by CISEN, that would be the Mexican clowns, the American clowns under Obama, and former Mexico President Enrique Peña Nieto. The story is trending in Mexico right now, and I will post more soon. So we're actually going to take a look at an article that he posted. It is in Spanish, so we're going to have to convert it over to English. All right, so unfortunately, because we had to translate, I had to open it up in Google Chrome. So let's see. It says, extortion network would have been operated from the EPN, FIU, and offices linked to the presidency. The head of the FIU, Santiago Nieto, reveals that the extortion network was allegedly directed by the former legal counsel of the presidency, Humberto Castellas, a case that added to the processes of Emilio Lozoya and Rosario Robles point to former President Peña Peña Nieto, whose finances are also under the magnifying glass of the FIU. It says the Mexican government follows clues in the national and international financial system on the finances of former President Enrique Peña Nieto that could point to possible acts of corruption. This was revealed in an interview by Santiago Nieto, head of the Financial Intelligence Unit and the Ministry of Finance and Public Credit. Yes, we are just working on that, review Peña Nieto's finances, said the official. Nieto said in order to carry out the review of Peña Nieto's finances, the FIU collaborates with authorities from various foreign governments. When asked about when the complete case file of Peña Nieto's finances would be ready, the head of the FIU said that in a few months before the end of the year it would be concluded. What we are doing is the construction from the bottom up, so the leagues have to take you. It is a methodical issue. From there, you have to put it together. You have to move forward, said Nieto. And please excuse this translation. Some of this is going to be a little out of order. Nieto, former head of the prosecutor's office specialized in electoral crimes, said that the cases of former Secretary of State Rosario Robles, former director of Pemex Emilio Lozoya, and lawyer Juan Collado, also close to Peña Nieto, are being taken in mind in the research of the finances of former President EPN. I think everything points to Peña Nieto, but I still don't have any real evidence. That's what we're doing. We're doing the investigation process, said Nieto. While Robles and Collado are currently prisoners accused of various crimes, Lozoya is considered a fugitive from justice, accused of organized crime, bribery, and operations with resources of illicit origin or money laundering. I think Peña Nieto was aware of any act of corruption, of the great acts of corruption, Nieto said. He even said that in addition to Peña Nieto's research on finances, the FIU has already begun to build a file on the two-time Secretary of State, Luis Videgaray, considered one of the closest collaborators of the former president. When asked if it coincided with President Andrés Manuel López Obrador's proposal to implement an endpoint and not prosecute crimes committed by former presidents, Nieto said that López Obrador's order to federal officials was not to allow impunity in any case. What we saw with Carlos Romero, with Lozoya, with Rosario, could not happen without the knowledge of the president. What he has told me is that if we find any irregularity, denounce, but he has told me not to go against anyone in particular. I think we have to comply with the rules of the rule of law. So it sounds like they do not want to let anyone who has committed crimes, who is in former governments, get off, but they also don't want to target anyone specifically. They want to see where the investigation bears out and exactly who committed what crimes, and then they will prosecute them based upon that. When questioned about the possibility of investigating the personal finances of the former presidents who preceded Peña Nieto, the head of the FIU declared that any case in which acts of corruption are presumed will be investigated. However, he said that considering the financial crimes prescribe after 10 years, I think that would be the statute of limitations, it would be meaningless to investigate the finances of former presidents, such as those of PRI Carlos Salinas de Gortari, who ruled from 1988 to 1994. He added that in the case of former President Felipe Calderón, illegal activities committed from 2009 onwards could be investigated. So basically, the Mexican president, López Obrador, is the Mexican equivalent of Donald Trump. He is cleaning up the swamp down in Mexico. He is following these leads on corruption wherever they head, and we already know, based upon my interviews with Jeffrey Peterson, exactly where it will lead to. Peña Nieto right here was a dirty, dirty bird, and he had a lot of close ties with Democrats here in America. You guys, this is a huge story, and it is happening so close to America and with people who were so closely aligned with the Democrats. We are definitely going to have to keep a close eye on this, but remember where you heard it first. Real Jeffrey P. Thank you very much, buddy. All right, now a shocking story coming from my friend The Dirty Truth, aka Real Dirty on Twitter. Seems that CBS is spreading more fake news. They are now trying to target Discord, saying that all of the 8chan users are moving there since the chans are down. Obviously, they do not understand what Discord is or how it works. So let's go ahead and take a listen to this story, which will be from CBS, where they are trying to say that Discord is the new 8chan. Unbelievable.
Homes. The site 8chan was shut down earlier this month. It has been linked to at least 3 mass shootings this year, including the attack in El Paso, Texas. 8chan served as a go-to resource for violent extremists to promote white nationalist ideas. However, taking down the site is now driving users to other platforms. One of them is called Discord. For more, CNET senior producer Dan Patterson joins me now on set. So Dan, first of all, if you could explain what exactly is Discord and what has it been used for in the past?
Elaine, Discord is a chat application. It's a mobile app. It's great. It's in the iOS App Store. It's in the Android App Store. You can log into it on your web browser. It's very useful. It acts just like Slack. If you're in the workplace, you might have used Slack to communicate with your teams. Discord is very similar. It is for gamers and gaming, and I use it routinely. We play Dungeons and Dragons game using Discord on a regular basis. It is inherently on itself is not a bad app. There are good purposes for Discord.
So explain then, why is it that 8chan users in particular are gravitating towards Discord? What is it about Discord that makes it attractive to those 8chan users?
Well, Elaine, the design could not be more dissimilar. If you look at a screenshot of 8chan and a screenshot of Discord, they look very different. But the features and functionality, Elaine, that's what's important here. One, anonymity. Users can log in using any name you want. If you go to 8chan, or at least what used to be 8chan, you didn't even have to log in, so you could be effectively anonymous. Now, there is a log of your IP address, and Discord has this, but they won't surrender it without a subpoena. Same with 8chan, and most web services operate like this. The other feature that is really interesting, Elaine, is the ability to spin up private communities. Now, Discord, the jargon, the language is a server, but really these are just private chat rooms where you invite your friends. So my friends, for example, we have a private chat room that 6 or 8 of us use every month to play Dungeons and Dragons. It's pretty innocuous. World of Warcraft players use it to play World of Warcraft.
Sounds
it's
super fun, Dan Patterson.
Right, it is.
Well, it looks like they didn't try to spin it too hard. It could not be more different from 8chan. It is a completely different platform. The thing about Discord, like he said, you get to make your own server, you get to have private rooms within that server, you get to communicate with people for, in a very effective way. But I do not believe that this is where everybody from 8chan is going. Now, is Discord good for doing research? Yes, it is, because you can share information very easily. But it could not be more different. However, clearly, this is a threat to the cabal, and they want to go after Discord. They want to take down any opportunity that we have to communicate privately. We are only allowed to use the official means of communication, and you know what that means? Twitter and Facebook. Well, guys, we're going to have to keep a close eye on this as well. I really hope that Discord doesn't get taken down, because I certainly use it myself on a daily basis. All right, in our next story from the Gateway Pundit. Oh, how convenient. It looks like the camera footage outside of Jeffrey's prison cell has been deemed unusable. One of the cameras outside of Jeffrey's prison cell, where the convicted sex offender died earlier this month, captured footage that is unusable, according to SF Gate. It is unclear why the footage is unusable. However, it is adding to the list of inconsistencies and strange coincidences surrounding Jeffrey's death while in federal custody at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan. Now, SF Gate reported at least one camera in the hallway outside the cell, where authorities say registered SEX offender Jeffrey Epstein hung himself earlier this month, had footage that is unusable, although other, clearer footage was captured in the area, according to 3 people briefed on the evidence gathered earlier this month. It was not immediately clear why some video footage outside of Jeffrey's cell is too flawed for investigators to use, or what is visible in the other usable footage. The incident is being investigated by the FBI and the Justice Department's Inspector General's office, which are attempting to determine what happened and how to assess whether any policies were violated or crimes committed. Oh, that's an easy one. It's unclear whether the flaw in the taping affected a limited duration of the footage or whether it was a chronic problem in the beleaguered facility. I doubt that it was a chronic problem. If it was a chronic problem, they would have taken care of it before they put him in the cell. Something tells me that it's just the 5 or 10 minutes where they were actually strangling him that is going to be unusable. 66-year-old financier and convicted PEDO Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his prison cell a few weeks ago on a Saturday morning, and the medical examiner ruled his death a suicide by hanging. He was found hanging in a cell from his bunk bed with a prison bedsheet wrapped around his head. Jeffrey, who is 6 feet tall, reportedly secured the bedsheet to the top bunk and wrapped the sheet around his neck. Not likely, guys. I do not buy this. Many close to Jeffrey fear he was murdered, and CBS News, citing an unnamed source, also reported on Tuesday that shrieking and shouting was heard coming from Jeffrey's cell on the morning of his death. Does not sound consistent with a suicide by hanging. The source also said they heard officers in the corrections facility saying, "Breathe, Jeffrey, breathe," while trying to revive him. Jeffrey had many broken bones in his neck, including his hyoid bone, which is consistent with homicide by strangulation. The DOJ is currently investigating the circumstances surrounding Jeffrey's death, and as many as 20 prison workers have been subpoenaed in the investigation. I cannot wait to see what the DOJ and the FBI come up with on this one. I think it's very, very obvious that this did not happen the way that it did. Whether he's alive or whether it was a homicide, it did not happen the way they said. He did not die by suicide. I can bet you that. Well, one of the favorites of the program, Joe diGenova, is coming out and talking once again about IG Horowitz's investigation. He says that Horowitz has concluded all 4 FISA warrants to spy on Trump campaign and administration were illegal. Former U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Joe diGenova, joined WMAL Radio on Monday to discuss the latest developments in the Spygate scandal. diGenova blasted CNN for hiring fired FBI acting director Andrew McCabe. McCabe was fired in March 2018 after the Justice Department Inspector General report found he had repeatedly lied about his involvement in a leak to the Wall Street Journal regarding an FBI investigation into the Clinton Foundation. Joe diGenova told the WMAL hosts that the NSA had all of Hillary's deleted emails, and many of them were classified. And later in the interview, Joe diGenova dropped this bomb. He said, "For the record, I can report categorically that the Inspector General has found that all 4 FISA warrants were illegal. They were based on false information supplied to the FISA court, and Michael Horowitz has concluded that all 4 FISA warrants were illegal." Great. Now, what are we going to do about it, Horowitz? This is big news. Now, let's see if justice will be served on these deep state criminals. Only time will tell. We're going to go ahead and take a listen to a clip from this interview, and we'll be right back.
Let me ask you a couple quick questions on what you've just told us. Joe, I didn't personally realize that there was a denied FISA warrant for Carter Page. That was the first step?
That is correct.
Okay. And
they didn't get it because they didn't have enough information. So they created the dossier and got it, knowing the dossier was false.
Is it your understanding that the only new information was the Steele dossier?
Yes.
Okay. Now, as for Admiral Rogers, who you've talked about many times and how he's been the one guy who was calling out the problems here, do you know if he was consulted at all or spoke to for the Inspector General report?
I actually do not know that, but I cannot believe that he has not been.
Yeah, and so what's the deal with his low profile? How come we haven't heard from him, and do you expect we will?
Oh, my goodness. The reason for his low profile? Because unlike John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey, and the rest of these criminal thug, dirty cops, corrupt intelligence officer, he is a patriot. He does not believe it is his duty to go out and besmirch anyone, even if he disagrees with them. He is a man of honor. He is a total professional. And as I have said before, all of the villains in this story are lawyers. The only hero is a military officer, an admiral. The people in this country should be grateful for the kind of people that we have in our military and who they are. I want Michael Rogers, the admiral, on a friggin' coin or a bill.
Yeah, there may be, if this all gets unwound and he's at the center of doing that, there may be a medal in his future as well.
Gotta love it. Admiral Rogers, thank you for your service to this country. Everything that Joe diGenova says is going to come to pass. He has the inside scoop. He's actually in contact with these people, unlike the lying leakers that we see in the mainstream media. diGenova knows what he's talking about. diGenova has been part of this investigation from the very beginning. They have been telling him what's been going on. The things that Horowitz is doing are being then reported to Joe diGenova right here, and he is being allowed to speak to the media. Now, the reason you don't hear about it on the fake stream media is because it doesn't fit their narrative. They want it to look like nothing is going to happen, that we are a bunch of crazy people, and that the things that took place were nothing close to a coup. However, we know they were. Thank you so much, Joe diGenova, for keeping us informed. This subject will not go away, and we will see it to its inevitable conclusion. All right, here is an interesting tweet. Speaking of Spygate, this was sent over by my good friend Cats5. This is from Enoch on Twitter. Enoch, L-E, I don't know how to pronounce that. The fake news media reports Trump said he would nuke hurricanes before they came ashore. And then Hillary Clinton responded by saying we should not nuke hurricanes. Enoch speculates that she might be sending code about Trump going to expose Crossfire Hurricane. Now remember, he just met with Boris Johnson at the G7. And we've been told previously that all of this information was going to come out once Boris Johnson took power. Boris Johnson, Donald Trump, they are allies. Boris Johnson wants to make Britain great again. Donald Trump wants to make America great again. And the only way to do that is to get to the bottom of the Spygate scandal. And we know that Five Eyes were deeply, deeply involved. Crossfire Hurricane was the code word for the investigation. Hillary says we should not nuke hurricanes. Very, very interesting theory. Thank you, Enoch. All right, guys, now this is unreal. My friend Gina and Guy, they texted yesterday, and they were talking about this very thing, covfefe. And at the time, it was being reported the true meaning of covfefe. But apparently, this true meaning was buried by a massive search giant so that the president would look like a moron. President Trump tweeted covfefe, and nobody knew what he meant. If you were to search for this word, you couldn't find it. Now we know the reason that you couldn't find it. It's because that search giant had erased it from its social platform. Now, internet sleuth Tiffany Fitzhenry reported some major information in the leaks from that search giant that were recently released. A few of her tweets were related to President Trump's use of the word covfefe. So right here, top bombshells of this leak from Gaggle. She says, 1. Deleting covfefe. Documents reveal that the search giant raced to remove the Arabic word covfefe from virtual existence in the hours and days following Donald Trump's infamous tweet. On May 31st, 2017, after returning from Saudi Arabia, Trump tweeted this: despite constant negative press, covfefe, meaning I will stand up. Now, 6 hours later, he tweeted this: who can figure out the true meaning of covfefe? Enjoy. Now, leaked documents titled Covfefe Translate Easter Egg reveal how this search giant raced to scrub the Arabic word covfefe and its meaning, I will stand up. According to the document, they knew the meaning of the Arabic word. Despite that, they set out to replace it with a shrug emoji. Look at this. Goal. We currently translate the query covfefe from Arabic to English into I will stand up. This created some confusion this week as users tried to translate Donald Trump's tweet from Wednesday night, which had the word covfefe in it. Since the word has no real meaning, we want to do an Easter egg that translate covfefe and covfefe into the shrug to translate properties. Look at that. Leaked documents show that Google raced to erase the meaning of the Arabic word covfefe as soon as the president tweeted his reference to the word. So Tiffany says, so just to be crystal clear, this search giant has no problem whatsoever taking it upon themselves to alter a centuries-old language, deleting an entire word and its meaning from virtual existence in order to carry out a completely unstated hidden political agenda. Further documents also reveal that the team raced to bad the misspellings as well. See the document below. In essence, ensuring that anyone searching for the word to try and figure out what covfefe meant, they would never find the truth no matter what, no matter how hard they searched. Let's go ahead and take a look at that document. People are very creative in interpretation. I'll prepare a rapid response for this right now. Note this triggers due to auto-transliteration, which actually sends the query. The auto-transliteration query almost matches the phrase mentioned in the article, usually Latinized in Saqua Akfel. Since they're slightly different, I'm going to bad the misspelling. And then rapid response rule. Okay, so look at this. This is Keith Stevens actually talking about changing the algorithm and the program that they had so that you would not be able to determine the true meaning of the word covfefe. Unbelievable. Now, this search giant didn't want anyone to know what the word covfefe meant, I will stand up, and rather defrauded the president and the American people of the truth. Tiffany continues, by removing the word covfefe, this search giant willfully defrauded the American public. The weaponized language information meant to be available to all humans, mass-manipulated thought, political opinions, and reality itself, all in real time. Sit with that. Think of the implications. The team name itself, Derrida Team, foolishly gives away their intentions. Derrida, for those who don't know, was a postmodern philosopher who wrote at lengths about how to carry out the destruction of Western civilization. These are the heroes of this search giant's foot soldiers. Now, this company should be ashamed of itself. It proves daily its intent to curtail free speech and manage the information that people around the world are allowed to access. They are evil. Unbelievable, guys. I remember when this happened, people figured out what Covfefe really meant, but again, you could not find it anywhere when you went to search for it, so it kind of fell out of favor and people stopped talking about it. However, President Trump still prevailed. He still stands tall every single day despite the negative press, and nothing is going to stop him on his mission because, yes, he is anointed by God. All right, guys, and finally, more news on former Overstock CEO. He says that the quote-unquote Russian spy, Maria Butina, discussed meeting with Don Jr. and offered Byrne a meeting with Putin. Former Overstock CEO Patrick Byrne claimed in a memo obtained by Fox Business that Maria Butina, the alleged Russian spy, offered him a meeting with Vladimir Putin. Mr. Byrne sent Fox Business a second memo claiming he sent the government information that Maria Butina was trying to set up a meeting with Donald Trump Jr. Maria Butina, who is currently in jail, claimed she also met with someone in Hillary's circle, according to the memo that Byrne offered the government. Butina was also focusing on Ted Cruz, Rubio, and Trump, according to Byrne. Last week, Patrick Byrne appeared on Fox News and CNN with claims that the FBI, which he refers to as Men in Black, pushed him to contact Maria Butina. Byrne said on an appearance on CNN that the orders from the FBI came directly from Peter Strzok, the former counterintelligence chief who opened the counterintelligence investigation into Trump-dubbed Crossfire Hurricane. This is a breaking story. Now, you guys, this was probably the biggest story over the weekend that I was upset that I wasn't able to cover. Patrick Byrne was the former CEO of Overstock.com. He had worked with the FBI on 2 previous occasions, and then they wanted him to work with them again. This time, he is claiming that they were trying to get him to develop blackmail material on political candidates: Hillary Clinton, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, and Donald Trump. Peter Strzok was the one who was giving the orders, the marching orders for him, and they also directed him to enter into a romantic relationship with Maria Butina. This sounds more like the clowns in America than the FBI, and we know that Peter Strzok was an employee of both. All right, guys. Well, hopefully this weekend, once more additional information comes out regarding this story on Patrick Byrne, I will be covering that in depth because this is a big one. He has given information to the DOJ and to Bill Barr himself, and he believes that Bill Barr is going to get to the bottom of this. When he says the Men in Black, he means the people that work within the FBI but are not of the FBI. They clearly have a different master. Their best interest is not the American people or America itself. Patrick Byrne is a very, very brave and patriotic American. He came forward. He gave up his position as CEO of his company, the company that he developed, that he brought into prominence, and that he has made successful. And he did that because he cares about America. He wants America to be restored to the great country that we once were, and perhaps even better than we were before. Truly, the definition of making America great again. All right, guys, I want to thank everyone for joining me. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.